Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Watch the greenbacks tumble. Fielders valley crumble.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked. Here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. And we're broadcasting 2 hours from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. There's a link to all of your instructors on the website, USAPrepares.com. Shayne is engineering the broadcast right now. John is going to be engineering the broadcast in a little bit. Captain John Regan's with us. Welcome, Captain John Regan.
Good morning, Vincent.
Good morning, Captain John Regan. You know, we have a new listen line, and I'm really excited about it. I've been talking about it for about a week now. And the reason I'm excited about it is that it works. It doesn't seem to crash. And so if you're coming to the meetup tonight, please let me know what your experience is with this listen line, 605-477-3249, 605-477-3249. And there's a meetup tonight, Jimmy's Egg, 4:45 to 8 p.m. It's free. And we have a drawing for dinner every night. We pass out drawing tickets, and one lucky person is selected for a free dinner. That's every Monday night at Jimmy's Egg in Springfield, Missouri. Information's on the website. And tonight, Larry Nichols will be with us. He'll be calling in. We've tested the audio. It works just great. Crystal clear audio. And you can bring your questions for Larry Nichols. And class, I have to tell you, Larry Nichols is teaching us about the inside of politics, what a dirty, rigged game it is. Yeah, it's really disheartening. So that means that you need to run for office, run for school board office, run for boards of director positions, for your local cooperatives. If you have an insurance cooperative, run for office. If you have an electric cooperative, run for office. If you have, some kind of a farmers cooperative, run for that. Run for school board. Run for every single position that you feel comfortable running for. Let's take back this country. John Regan, it's good to be with you. How was your weekend?
Oh boy, in some ways the news was slow this weekend, almost like it was a holiday weekend. But at the same time, there is just so much going on all over the place that just trying to put it all together and present it in a way that's not just totally overwhelming is getting to be more and more of a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Well, where would you like to start?
Well, I continue to put up the tale of two droughts. And I don't want to go too deep there. Basically, California is staying about the same, and Texas is getting worse right now. We did get a little bit of rain this past week, but that won't show up on this report until the new one is released on Thursday. So we'll still be keeping an eye on that. But let me go ahead and swing on down to the financial section. And today's the day. It's a interesting lesson in how the calendar works. Probably like most Christians, I'm quite ignorant of how God did things, and the calendar is one of those. We're used to the pagan solar calendar that stays the same every year, except when we have leap year. And, that's just the way it is. However, when you're working with God's calendar, you're basing it on the sighting of the new moon. And it's not just where you are, it's the sighting of the new moon where it counts, and that's Jerusalem. And there was a lot of buildup on, this being the Shemitah year, and that the 29th of Elul is going to be yesterday. However, based on the sighting of the new moon in Jerusalem, the 29th is actually today. Now, whether or not that's going to end up translating into a big change in our market today or not has yet to be seen. And even if it doesn't, that doesn't mean that we're out of the woods, because it is the season anyway. And even if that weren't the case, nothing has changed the overall condition of what the real financial condition is. But, I found out about how the calendar works. That was one of the good things about moving to that community in the Ozarks, is we did a study on Passover, and we were looking at when it was going to be and all of that. And again, the calendar is based on the sighting of the moon. And when it gets to be spring there's one more component thrown in. It's not just the sighting of the new moon, but it's the condition of the hops. If the hops aren't ready, then that's the sign that they throw in their extra month. And then after that month comes the month where Passover is. So it's a rather different way of thinking from the modern scientific. We can just throw everything into a computer and calculate when things are, view of the calendar. And next up, there's been news on organ harvesting, and I'm just wondering if this is going to be the next stage of it. There was a survey that 30% of millennials would sell an organ to erase student loans. And if you think that's bad, there was an article we didn't get to a couple of weeks ago that this is in the bigger picture section of August 31st, prostituting education. In less than 10 years, the Federal Reserve has driven millions of American women into prostitution, and we have a lot of college graduates, seeking sugar daddies to help pay off their student loans. Isn't America a great country?
John, we've been talking for several years that it's becoming more and more difficult for each generation to have it better than the previous generation, of course. I would love it if our children had it better, easier than I did, and of course my dad did, but that seems to be not the way it is. I know my grandfather had it tougher than my dad, except both of those men were in wars, World War I for my grandfather and World War II for my dad. And I was in Vietnam War era age, although I did not go. A number of us have it better than our parents, but I don't think that's the case now. I was working on a tractor. We had to replace a water pump, repair a water pump over the weekend, and I was working on it with my son. And we degreased the engine, degreased the tractor before we started. We were still covered with grease. There's, these hidden spots that were greasy. And I was thinking as we were doing this, how many young people would know how to take the hood off a tractor. It takes two people to take the hood off. How many people would know how to disconnect the radiator, move the air conditioning condenser out of the way, disconnect the hoses, take out the correct bolts without breaking them, how to lubricate the bolts that are rusted in place and, to get them out without replacing them. The water pump weighs about 35 pounds. I mean, it's a really heavy water pump, and it was grueling, knuckle-busting work. How many people know how to do that? Young people. I venture to say very, very few, since we have replaced some of the classes that we used to teach in high school, shop classes, woodworking classes, metalworking classes, welding classes, auto mechanics, body mechanics, electricity classes, building trade classes. We've removed them. Why? I guess it's too hard. And so now we have an absence of those who know how to do those things. And, I don't know how it's going to work very well, John, because what do you do if you have a dripping faucet or a leaking toilet or a pipe that breaks? I guess you call somebody, right? And what if it's the weekend? Do you pay extra 2 times as much, 3 times as much because it's the weekend? Are you set up for highway robbery? When someone comes out to fix that leak that's flooding your basement? Since we don't teach young people how to do those things anymore. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. And that gets back to us running for office and taking back our school boards and bringing back the classes that we need to teach. So, as we talk about each generation, I think we're going to have it harder and harder because, if there's not an app that can do it, young people don't know how to do it. For the most part.
Down a couple of links. Are cars the new toasters?
Did I leave you speechless?
I was trying to get down to where the link was.
One second. I'm thinking about this survey that 30% of millennials would sell an organ to ease student loans. Now, that's absolute insanity. I mean, what would that be? A kidney, a lung, some skin,
and it's
selling part of your body?
All because Congress won't let student loans be discharged in bankruptcy.
Yeah. John Regan's with us. I'm Vince Finelli. I'm just really, really concerned about Congress. Those 2 sets of rules, one for them, one for us. They've got it made. John Regan, I'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
My name is Bill Bonner, and I'm the president of the largest private news and research network in the world. And I paid for this airtime because I have an important message to the American people. There's a change coming that the government isn't telling you about. This change has deep implications for life in America, from where you shop to the doctors you visit and the family you want to protect. Look, I've made predictions like this before. Thing is, I was right then too. A few years ago, I warned that housing prices would collapse. They did. Before that, I warned that .com companies would crash. They did. Those who listened had a chance to save themselves. But this has nothing to do with the stock market. This will affect us all.
You can watch the video for free right now by going to $downfall.com. Again, that's $downfall.com.
The human body is more than 60% water. Your brain and muscles are 75% water. And your blood is 92% water. Water's vital to your body, and alkalizing your water is the key to keep it running at its best. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops keep your entire body healthy, boosts energy, promotes weight loss, and even fights cancer. Call 800-518-7615 or go to alkavision.com to find out more. That's ALKAvision.com.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Captain John Regan's with us. The Financial State of the Union.com, and if you'd like to follow along with us, the financialstateoftheunion.com, and click on the news tab. John, what's next?
Well, since you were talking about cars, I'm skipping a link right now, going down to Our Cars Toasters now. Our Cars Now Toasters. And the article, actual title is Big Lighters on Wheels. And the point being is that, cars are now disposable. And in my reference, which would probably shock anybody under 40, is it used to be if your toaster stopped working, you took it to an appliance repair shop to get fixed. So that's what made sense.
Sure.
When I was in the Air Force, if my shoes, the heels or the soles weren't up to snuff, I'd take them down to the shoe repair and get that fixed, and because that's what made sense. And in the past, if your car broke down, it made sense to take it to the shop and get it fixed because that's what made sense. Well, now the replacement and the labor on that is getting to be so great that now when your car breaks, it's you're pretty much at the point where you have to dispose of it. And working on it is getting more and more difficult because you have these car manufacturers that are forcing you to use tools that only work for a particular model for a particular purpose. And then if you do decide to work on your car, truck, or tractor, they're wanting to charge you with intellectual property infringement. Isn't fascism great?
Well, John, I can add an exclamation point to that. We have in our family, it's not mine. One of our children bought a used Mercedes. It's 10 years old now. An hydraulic hose failed, and the dealer wanted $5,400 to replace it and replace a hydraulic pump that the dealer said that it needed. And I called the dealer and I said, just want to make sure I understand this estimate. They said, yeah, that's right. It's a hose that has failed. And I explained that there were numerous hoses that have failed, and there's only 2 of them under the hood that do what this particular symptom told us. And he said, no, it's not the same hose. It was another hose that failed. And previously, I think this was the 4th or the 5th time that we've had this failure. So $5,400 to replace a hose and the hydraulic pump. And I said, you've told me everything I need to know about Mercedes-Benz. And I bought 4 shocks, 4 non-hydraulic suspension shocks for $1,550. My son paid me for them, and I put them on my other son and I put them on this old Mercedes, and we eliminated the hydraulic suspension, so that problem will not occur. So what has happened is that the whole car may be worth $10,000, okay? But it had $5,400 worth of Mercedes repairs, which makes it not practical to fix. And this is it's a nice car, but it's way too expensive to fix it the Mercedes way. That's one problem. We had a water pump fail while we were baling hay about 10 days ago or so. And so we took that water pump off. The price from John Deere for the water pump is $850. $850. Now, if I want to rebuild it myself, I can get some, but not all of the parts for $150 plus tax. That's to rebuild the water pump. John, when I was in high school, I had a job selling auto parts after school. And I worked behind the counter. The price of a rebuilt water pump, painted with a brand new gasket to install it, was $9.95, maybe $9.99, less than $10 for the entire water pump. That would fit a Ford or a Chevy or Chrysler, just about any car. Now, the price of a water pump is $850 for a tractor, which is absolute insanity. So you're absolutely right. It is really, really getting expensive to repair cars. Show me a transmission. Someone goes and has a transmission repaired at the local transmission shop in the city or town of their choice, and show me where it's less than $1,500. I'd like to see that. It's out of control. Absolutely out of control. Why is it that you can go to AutoZone or the Advance Auto or the auto retailer of your choice, buy disc brakes for $20, but to have them installed on your car is over $100? Why is that? Why is that? We'll be right back.
No way. Is that a real bullet necklace?
No, it's a 9mm bullet necklace with matching earrings, you'll notice.
Those are awesome. Where'd you get them?
Dave found them at PatriotNecklace.com.
Wow.
They have a variety of calibers and necklaces and earrings and keychains.
PatriotNecklace.com?
PatriotNecklace.com.
Your choice of caliber bullet includes a rugged American-made stainless steel dog tag chain. A percentage of every sale goes to military and service-related charities. And get a discount by entering GCN at checkout. Show your patriotism and support our troops with a bullet necklace from PatriotNecklace.com.
Okay, open your mouth and say ah.
When your child has a sore throat, you need to know when to get help. The doctor recommended Say Ah Sore Throat Exam is your solution. The scientifically designed oral retractor offers a clear view of the throat, relaxing the tongue and minimizing gag reflex. Compare with a medical grade chart, website, and app. Then you'll know just what to tell your doctor. A wellness plan in your hands in minutes. Go to SayAhHNow.com. SayAhNow.com, the new mainstay for every family's first aid kit.
Does being over 40 make you feel like half the man you used to be? Do you feel more tired, out of shape, not in the mood like you used to be? Thanks to an exclusive formula, you can help boost testosterone levels safely and naturally. Introducing Ageless Male, a life-changing supplement for men tested to help increase testosterone levels.
You'll notice a boost in your energy levels, workouts work, sex life improves. It's like a light switch goes on.
Try Ageless Male risk-free if you would like to experience what taking Ageless Male can feel like. Support for healthy, normal testosterone levels, healthy energy, and increased performance, and more romance when you want it.
Call 1-800-327-4821. That's 1-800-327-4821. 800-327-4821. 800-327-4821. That's 1-800-327-4821.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
Mike Stenerson from Midas Resources. At no time in history have precious metals been more important, certainly not in my 22 years in the industry. The dollar has lost over 90% of its value in the last 60 years. No fiat currency has ever survived the government printing presses. Ours is not immune. The time is now to be proactive. 1-800-686-2237, extension 116. Anything tied to the dollar is at risk. CDs, annuities, 401ks, IRAs, stocks, bonds, you name it, so decide. Do you want to leave a legacy of wealth or debt for your family? The choice is yours. Call me at 1-800-686-2237, extension 116. That's 1-800-686-2237, extension 116. Be proactive, not reactive. Call 1-800-686-2237, extension 116.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit and carting to a private bank, having it lent back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Ted Anderson, I'm placing a free silver dollar in a book that explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
Thousands of people seeking home security get ripped off every day, and the home security industry wants you to believe that's your only option. They've got hordes of salesmen out there trying to scare you into signing one of their long-term contracts. You get stuck writing huge checks month after month with no way out. It's robbery by contract, and it can cost you thousands. But there's a better way to protect your home. Simply Safe Home Security. Simply Safe has no contracts. None. You'll get award-winning 24/7 protection, security professionals watching over your home, ready to instantly send police to the rescue for just $14.99 per month. That's less than half what most companies charge. Protect your home the smart way. Visit simplysafedefense.com today for an exclusive 10% offer and get a free keychain remote worth $25. Only when you go to simplysafedefense.com. simplysafedefense.com.
Captain John Regan's with us. John, we were talking about this Bic lighter, and we're talking about how it's disposable, and you throw them away when it runs out of fluid. You don't refill them, even though the flint seems to last longer than the fluid, and it makes sense because you don't want to run out of flint before you run out of butane. But here's the point. The reason that some of these car makers have these more and more complex transmissions is because of the quest for more miles per gallon, right? Isn't that the reason?
And I was just seeing commercials this weekend where they're advertising these aluminum trucks because
Ford, right?
Of course now, because of our lovely administration, they have to increase the gas mileage on trucks, and all you can do is make them lighter.
Well, that's exactly what they're doing, John. For example, I have a 1994 Chevrolet half-ton truck. It's a full-size Blazer with a diesel engine. And I was looking at the chrome bumper. I parked that next to my other truck, which is a 2004 Chevrolet half-ton truck. And they've taken about half of the chrome out of the bumper. Literally. And they've replaced what's behind the bumper with styrofoam blocks. I'm not kidding. In a lot of cases, you'll see that these small cars with these painted bumpers, the bumpers are the same color as the rest of the body of the vehicle, you'll find that there are these plastic styrofoam blocks that act as part of the bumper system. Think about that. And styrofoam weighs virtually nothing compared to, what steel would weigh. So the way to get more miles per gallon is aerodynamics plays a small part, weight plays a big part, efficiency plays a big part, in the running gear and so forth. But when automatic transmissions were first manufactured, they were 2 speeds, first and second gear, and then they were improved in the 1960s to 3 speeds, then 4 speed, 5 speed, 6 speed, 7 speed, and as high as 8 speed. So we now have 8-speed transmissions. I believe we've got some 3 speeds here. We got some 4 speeds, and we have a 5 speed. We don't have the latest, but I can tell you that I can't imagine having a transmission be more efficient than a manual transmission if you have the right gear ratio and if you're able to run a thinner fluid in it. So that's what's happening. We're running really slick fluids in these automatic transmissions, which have lower viscosity and less running, we'll call it friction, within the transmission. But what we're talking about is, as these devices get more complicated, the engines have higher tolerances and make more horsepower for the same weight of the engine. We have higher tolerances. The engines run hotter. They're harder to cool. There's more demands placed on the fluid. And if you miss an oil change, it's a bad thing, because if you have a failure, it's really, really expensive. And I was looking at tractors over the weekend on Craigslist. I see what the price of tractors is, and I called this one guy who had a tractor I was interested in, but it had like a switch on the steering column. So if you want to go forward, it's kind of like a turn signal. You push it forward and you go forward, and you push it in the center, you don't go anywhere, it's like neutral, and you push it back and you go in reverse. And then it has a transmission in addition to this hydrostatic component. I'm not interested. I'd rather have a clutch that's easier to fix. And what we're finding out, I'm not the only one, but farmers are trying to get away from these high-tech devices where you have to go to a dealer. Now think about this. I have a friend who has a John Deere tractor. And John Deere comes and picks it up with a huge truck to service it. Now think about what kind of a truck you need to haul it around a 12,000 pound or 10,000 pound tractor. And how much does it cost? $3 per mile to get that tractor to the dealer. And then they work on it at what, $100 an hour or $80 an hour in the shop? It's really, really expensive. We don't have anybody do any of that work for us. We do it here. Even though we have a trailer that could, gooseneck trailer that could hold this tractor, barely. I'm still not taking it to the dealer unless I have a gun to my head. I just don't want to do it. I'm not willing to. I'm willing to break bang up my knuckles and do it myself, because I just can't justify the cost of sending it to a dealer. I can't do it. It's out of control how much it costs to have things fixed. And then the dealers, and I'm not saying any particular dealer, I'm saying in general, have a tendency to find other things. Well, while it's here, how about if we check this, that, and the other? By the way, and these other 3 things need replacing. And then because the consumer, the user, the owner of this tractor has no idea what's going on because he doesn't service it himself, he says, well, is it important? And the dealer says, yeah, it's really important. Okay, well, then certainly take care of it. That's the kind of stuff that's going on, in my opinion. And Michael in New York, welcome.
Good morning, Vincent and John.
Good morning.
Hey, regarding the reason for the styrofoam behind the bumpers and supposed modern efforts to improve the mileage on the automobiles, the trucks. Unfortunately, that's not really what they're attempting, and it's just to save money. They're cheap dirt bags, and they're just trying to maximize the profits on the junk they're selling to us consumers, because that's all we are, of course, right? And for example, now on gas mileage. Pogue, the Canadian inventor Pogue, back in the 30s, had a carburetor, got 200 miles to the gallon. And that's probably why they got rid of carburetors over, up to, maybe 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when it came out with the electronic fuel ignition. Because with carburetors, people can modify them still. And it's essentially all what it came down to was he was taking the wet fuel coming into the carburetor and had a second chamber that would, like a sponge, absorb it, and then it would be the concentrated vapors going into the combustion cylinder, which would give you tremendous horsepower and tremendous gas mileage. That's fuel efficiency all the way. Now, when I was working on a truck once and on a fuel line, and son of a gun, what's the first thing I realized? This is a stream, a river of fuel going into the engine. Now, there's no way that engine is burning all that wet fuel going in like that at that volume. It's impossible. By design, it's wasting gasoline by design. And they know all that. And so, unfortunately, guys, they have no interest in improving fuel miles because they could easily do it. And, I mean, instead of 1 or 2 miles per gallon compared to the previous model, we're talking, 100 miles a gallon or better. And so they know how to do it easily, and they refuse to do it. All they're doing is getting cheaper and cheaper on the manufacturing so that they can maximize profits while they give us junk that will last half the length of time the previous model did, just like you were saying at the top of the show. So we have to replace it sooner than later.
Michael, it's very interesting what you just said. As you're talking about the fuel line, I was thinking back to the 1970s. I still have it. It's a American Motors car called an AMX. And they didn't make very many of them. They made about 7,000 of them total in 3 years. And then American Motors ultimately went out of business. But I still have this thing. And it has a fuel line that I believe is 3/8 of an inch in diameter. And the fuel pressure is 7 pounds per square inch. You're absolutely right. That's an enormous, enormous amount of fuel. You're correct.
Right.
And what happened is we put larger and larger fuel filters on those fuel lines for two reasons. One, to catch more dirt and so forth. But the other was to reduce the restriction in the fuel line so you'd have the full flow of fuel that particular engine design needed. And you're right. We wasted an enormous amount of fuel. You'd see, when the engines were cold, they would start up and you'd see black soot coming out of the tailpipe. And that was unburned fuel. Okay. And how long was that? Oh, maybe a minute or two while the engines warmed up. So we had an enormous amount of fuel being wasted by the design of the engines and the entire system, in my opinion. And I met a guy by the name of Paul Pantone back in the 90s, late 90s. And I believe it was 1996, Paul Pantone took the carburetor off a lawnmower. And what he did was he attached it to a Dodge Slant 6 225 cubic inch engine. And he used the heat of the exhaust system to preheat the air fuel mixture to really atomize it. And he said that he was getting about, I think, around 70 miles per gallon with this engine.
Right.
It's the same engine that we would use in, one of our vehicles, typical Detroit engine, but he changed the carburation system. And then the next question is, and I always wondered, but I was unable to do it. I experimented with water injection. Back in World War II, they would use water injection. They'd mist water into the intake of an airplane and give it more horsepower. And it makes sense because, water is H2O, right? Hydrogen and oxygen. Makes a lot of sense to me. But I was unable to, when I was testing on the drag strip engines to see if I could get a lot more horsepower, get a little bit more, but I guess I wasn't doing it right. But, I was 17 back then. Anyway, it's really good points you're bringing up. Really good points. Now the question is, why aren't we using hydrogen?
Yes, or, that's right. Stanley Myers, you guys probably are familiar with Stan Myers' water engine out of Ohio, approximately 7 years posted on YouTube. I'm not sure if it's still there. If it is, Stan Myers' water engine, people, check it out. And he was interviewed by, Channel 7 of, I think, Cincinnati, Ohio, and he was driving around on it. The military expressed interest, and then a year later he's dead. Because apparently he wouldn't take a buyout. He wanted to sell it to the public. And so, of course, that's what happens to you. You get JFK'd if you're going to try to do good for the country. And so, yes, absolutely. It's just all a big lie. Everything's a big lie coming out of their mouths. And another one to let you guys go and get back to it. Are you familiar with go on YouTube and you type in Ford's hemp car? And Vince, if I may just hang on real quick over the break just to highlight this one.
Sure. And since you're talking about people dying, let's talk about Mina, the movie Mina. We'll be right back. And Kyle, hold that line. We'll be with you in just a minute. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPREPARES.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
This is Sharon Hunt. Before using Heart and Body Extract, my energy level was very, very low. I could only walk a few feet and then would have to sit down. I was tired and lethargic. But after taking Heart and Body Extract, my energy level has improved greatly, and I can now walk longer distances without getting tired so fast. Thank you, Heart and Body Extract.
Learn the secrets of an effective, natural, 100% organic nutritional supplement for a healthy heart and circulation at hbextract.com.
No way. Is that a real bullet necklace?
No, it's a 9mm bullet necklace with matching earrings, you'll notice.
Those are awesome. Where'd you get them?
Dave found them at patriotnecklace.com.
Wow.
They have a variety of calibers and necklaces and earrings and keychains.
Patriotnecklace.com?
Patriotnecklace.com.
Your choice of caliber bullet includes a rugged American-made stainless steel dog tag chain. A percentage of every sale goes to military and service-related charities. And get a discount by entering GCN at checkout. Show your patriotism and support our troops with a bullet necklace from patriotnecklace.com.
Hi, this is Walt Augustinowicz. I'm the founder and CEO of ID Stronghold. By now you've heard our commercials about wallets that protect you from electronic pickpocketing. 10 years ago, I created a way to protect my own cards from prying eyes after government officials started talking about issuing a national ID card with a built-in radio chip called RFID. I felt having to broadcast my personal information was an invasion of privacy. Soon after, it was also announced that credit cards, debit cards, U.S. passports, hotel room keys, and even transit passes would all soon incorporate RFID. It was then I formed ID Stronghold to share my inventions in blocking RFID signals with the world. There are a lot of misconceptions out there today about RFID. I encourage everyone to get informed and get protected. Please go to idstronghold.com and get the facts and the wallet, sleeves, or badge holders you need to protect your personal financial data. You'll be pleasantly surprised that through our direct sales model, you won't pay more than other comparable unprotected wallets. It is as though the protection is free. Visit idstronghold.com today.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares Unfiltered and Untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares Untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Ricky LeBlanc, admitted in Mass only. Sokolov Law, LLC, Chestnut Hill, Mass. Ken Levan, responsible attorney in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Greg Hobby, New Jersey. The choice of lawyer is an important decision that should not be based solely upon advertisements. While this firm maintains joint responsibility, most cases of this type are referred to other attorneys for principal responsibility. If you know what mesothelioma is, you or someone you love has likely been impacted by this devastating cancer. You may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolov Law today. 1-800-218-HELP. The only known cause of mesothelioma is asbestos exposure. Thousands of hardworking men and women, including many U.S. veterans and industrial workers, have been diagnosed with mesothelioma because manufacturers knew the dangers but put profits ahead of people. An estimated $30 billion in court-ordered trust has been set aside to pay money to asbestos victims. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call now. You may be entitled to receive compensation without ever going to court or filing a lawsuit. Call for a free legal consultation at 1-800-218-HELP. That's 1-800-218-HELP.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
clock says.
No, there's something
This can be sliding.
What are today's hot?
God, you're
Take my. When you go to
DC
for 2 seconds during.
Class is back in session. Turn up the volume. USAPrepares.com with the original survival economist, Vincent Finelli.
Captain John Regan's with us. Class meetup tonight. Larry Nichols will be with us tonight. And Michael from New York, you were talking about high mileage carburetors and the killing of the technology. Please continue.
Yes, I was going to mention, I'm going to mention on YouTube also Ford's Hemp Car. You search for that, if it's still there, a little film from like 1930 vintage, and 2 guys walk up to the car with sledgehammers. They're pounding it. You see the sledgehammer bouncing right off. No damage at all. So apparently Ford somehow, with some great engineering, developed a process utilizing hemp fiber that was stronger than steel and would obviously never rust. We would have vehicles in mint shape to this day if he was allowed to do that. But apparently the Rockefellers with Carnegie said, hey, you make that out of metal because it's going to rust and we're going to keep replacing it. We're going to make millions off your invention. And so hopefully that's still on YouTube. And last, let you go. And John, I appreciate your economic updates. Always look forward to it. So I'll let you guys get back to it. But it reminded me also back, a while back in the 90s, talking with a friend. And, we were talking about this, and he said he had a friend whose dad bought a brand new car back in the 70s from a local dealer. After so many miles driving around, he said, man, the gas gauge isn't working. He brings it back to the dealer, and he comes to find out, hey, you got an experimental carburetor on your car. You're not supposed to have that. There was nothing wrong with the gas gauge. He was just getting phenomenal mileage. So naturally, they took the carburetor off and put the regular gas guzzler one on.
Yeah, and those old gas guzzler carburetors used to leak fumes into the air. I mean, they wasted fuel. I mean, they just were, the ones that we had were just not efficient, and they could have been made much, much more efficient. I experimented with changing the jets on carburetors over the years, and I was able to easily get 10% better mileage. I mean, with very little effort at all. I mean, very, very little effort at all. And I want to say very quickly to the class, the simplest, the least expensive thing you can do to increase your miles per gallon is to inflate your tires to the maximum pressure that the tire will accommodate, and that's printed on the side of the tire. And that's done when the tires are cold. I don't mean freezing cold. I mean, out of the sun, not running the vehicle. The tires have not been run in an hour or two. And you can read the pressure. Actually, I have to be careful how I say this. Let me say it this way. I inflate our tires on our vehicles to the maximum that the tires can accommodate. So if it's 32 or 35 PSI, pounds per square inch, that's what I inflate them to, front and back. It's a much harder ride, but a rounder tire, a harder tire, because of more air pressure in it, rolls easier, less rolling resistance, more miles per gallon. So if it says 44, I put 44 in it. If it says 51, I put 51 in it. But if the car is parked in the sun, you'll find that, the tires that are in the sun, if you check the pressure, they'll generally be higher pressure than the ones that are not in the sun. So make sure your tires are not in the sun. Let's say check them when they're in the garage overnight, and then inflate them. But you have a chance of getting more punctures if you have higher inflation. So I run that risk, and I get more miles per gallon. But I wanted to share something with you, Michael, before you go. And you're talking about people dying. I just got off the phone with Chad King. Chad King is the producer of the Larry Nichols documentary. He flies drones for Hollywood. He lives in Hollywood. I know him. And I just got off the phone with him. And I asked him about the 2 people who were killed on the final filming of Tom Cruise film in Colombia, Medellin, right. Colombia.
Those pilots.
Yeah, and it's a film about Mena, Arkansas Airport, and the CIA. And the Clintons were involved, and Larry Nichols was involved. And so here we have a plane crash during the final scene of filming. Is that a sign? Chad King's involved in the filming of this. And then Chad King and I and Larry Nichols are involved in the documentary. How about that? Is that a warning?
Jeb Bush was ambassador of Colombia when back in that time frame?
I was reading about that just a few minutes ago. Yeah. Michael, thanks so much for being with us. Kyle, if you can hold that thought, we'll be back in about, a couple of minutes after top of the hour news and commercial announcements with John Regan, Captain John Regan. Meet up tonight, Jimmy's How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common-sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
Hey, Berkey Guy here. Are you still drinking unfiltered tap water? Does your water contain chlorine or fluoride? Will you have drinkable water in an emergency? The Berkey Guy is here to help you remove these and other potential contaminants from your water, thus helping you drink clean, purified water. We offer Berkey water purification systems at the lowest available prices online. Don't go another moment without Berkey system. Over the last 10 years, we've helped thousands drink clean, purified water. Join them by visiting goberkey.com or call me, the Berkey Guy, at 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares Unfiltered and Untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares Untapped and Off the Grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked. Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. Captain John Regan's with us. The financialstateoftheunion.com. We're at the news tab. Kyle is joining us from Montana. Welcome, Kyle.
Good morning, Vince and John. How are you guys doing today?
Very well. We were talking about, economy and fuel mileage and so forth. Welcome.
Yeah, I got a couple, 3 little stories that I happened to my family. My sister, when she was in elementary school, had a teacher that bought a brand new Trans Am. These are ones the stories that I'm familiar with. And this Trans Am had a very large motor in it, 400 and something cubic inch motor. And he was getting 32 miles to the gallon with this, and took it back to the dealership. And I remember him telling my sister come home, and she was saying that he felt like he had 2 extra speeds. It was really strange on the highway. And when they got this into the dealership, he had a prototype experimental rear end in it. and they would not give him his car back until they took and changed that out. And after they changed it back out, he got 12 on the road. And then I had a friend who had a 1970 Trans Am and had a 400 cubic inch engine in it, and he let me take it down the track. It wasn't all that fast, but it was a 4-speed, and it got maybe 12 to 14 miles per gallon. Yeah. And then, I was dating a girl in high school, and I met her uncle, and she said he was quite well off. And I asked her how'd that happen, and she said, well, he had a 1972 or 3 big Dodge Polara station wagon. You remember those old land yachts? And
sure.
Anyway, he built a Venturi system that he extended the height of the carburetor and built a plate around it. And then he built a Venturi system that looked like a Christmas tree. It kept going out further and further, looked like little bells on this thing. And they ended up giving him $100,000. This is back in 1972 or 3. They gave him $100,000 and a manufacturing plant that created and made oil filters and they got his invention. And of course, never ever saw the market light of day. But I was going to mention one other thing here, real quick.
Kyle, hold that thought
Sure.
for just 1 second. I used to race cars back in that era on the drag strip. And the single least expensive thing that I did to lower my elapsed time and to raise my trap mile per hour, meaning the speed at which the car ran, was I took a tomato sauce can, and I'm not kidding. I took the air cleaner off, and I put a tomato sauce can that fit perfectly over the carburetor, and I made a stack that was just a cylinder over the carburetor, and that channeled the air through the Venturi so that it was all going the same direction rather than turbulent, and that increased my elapsed time and miles per hour faster than any other little modification I did. And it was just a used sauce. Yeah, seriously. So there are a lot of things that you can do with airflow. No question about it. Please continue.
Okay. Well, I just had a couple of other real quick things. One, I was experimenting and working around with the hydrogen on a little Geo Metro, and I created one that would, my mileage went from about 42 to 43 on those Metros, which was excellent. Anyway, but I just wanted to see what I could do, and I created this thing, and I put it on the Metro, and all of a sudden my mileage went from 42 to 76 miles to the gallon on the highway. But what happened was the computer was starting to read that, and after about 3 to 4 days, it started dropping, and it kept dropping. Back right down to 42 to 43 miles to the gallon. So I tried to reprogram the computer the best that I knew how, and, just resetting it, because you could take the battery and leave it unhooked overnight, and the mileage would go back up for about 3 or 4 days. But then it just got to be too much of a hassle. But anyway, I know that that's possible because I did it. And the other thing, I created a hydrogen system with, you put baking soda, you use a couple of electrodes down in this. Actually, I took one and put one negative electrode down in, and then I took all-thread, stainless steel all-thread, all of this was, and then I wound it around, like the outside where it would fit down into a quart jar.
So you made Brown's gas.
I did, yeah.
And Bill Whaley came here and he showed me his truck that was running with the addition of Brown's gas, and he was getting 25 miles per gallon with a gasoline engine in a Ford 3/4 ton pulling a trailer.
Yeah,
so
it does work. There's a guy on YouTube. I think his name was Travis or something like that, but he's a young guy, smart as a whip. I mean, just kept experimenting with this. And he just literally unhooks the injectors completely and runs off of nothing but vapor. And on his Jeep Cherokee, he was like 200 miles to the gallon, running on nothing but vapor. But he had a specific system set up so that he could take and pull valves and change the flow of the exhaust so it would heat up this gas container so that nothing that would enter the car would be nothing but vapor. And it's either Travis or Trey or something like that. I just happened to see it a couple months ago when I was at the library looking on YouTube. But, you know, we've been lied to for so long on how. I agree with the caller there that was before me saying, you know, the vapor carburetors, I've told my wife this for years. The reason they went away from carburetors is so you couldn't do anything with them. Because there was just too many people working with them and figuring out things to be able to get huge mileage, increased horsepower, all of it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was Michael in New York. And Michael is a tinkerer, as best I can tell from things he's and I have talked about over the last couple of years. But this is really this Brown's gas, BROWNS, Brown's gas. Plenty of YouTube videos. And basically what you're doing is you're bubbling hydrogen out of water. And you need an electrolyte, and you can use baking soda or you can use other electrolytes. You take a quart jar and you make 2 electrodes. And the more surface area the electrodes have it's running on 12 volts, the more bubbling you get, the more gas you produce, the greater the efficiency that you can get out of this Brown's gas accessory that you plumb into the intake system of your engine. Now, what you do need to make sure is that you can shut this darn thing off, because the last thing you want to do is have hydrogen gas bubbling under your hood when your engine's not running, because a spark will cause an explosion. I mean, an explosion. So you got to be very, very, very careful how you do it. So I'm not saying how to do it at this point, but there's plenty of YouTube videos. But make sure that when you shut your engine off, this thing stops bubbling. And there are plenty of ways to do that. Some people hook them into like the windshield wiper circuit, and because that only runs when the engine's running. So be careful. But really good point, Kyle.
Yeah, it's just, I agreed. Because there's a friend of mine around here that was tinkering with it, and he didn't do that, and it literally blew his engine up when he tried to start it the next morning. Literally, it cracked the head of the block, and so people need to be extremely careful with that, because it is extremely explosive.
Yeah, and if you want to remember what hydrogen can do, just look at the Hindenburg. You know.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Anyway, there was a. Well, that's all right. I'll let John get going with what he's got. I'm sure he's got a lot. But I was going to ask John a question here real quick. John, you were mentioning about going to God's calendar and to see, financially kind of how things were resetting. And I was wondering if you could continue to elaborate on that a little bit, because I do think the same thing that he does. I think that that has a lot more to do with the way things are running or going to run than what everybody is sort of saying. Anyway, I'll let John talk. Thanks, Vince, and see you. I'll listen off there.
Thank you, Kyle. John Regan?
Well, the last couple, and these are 7-year cycles, the last couple of times these cycles have hit, we've had to the day of the 29th of Elul that this has happened on. Now, part of the problem we have is we don't know exactly where we are in the calendar, but we pretty much believe that this cycle is the 7th of those, which means that this next year is the Jubilee year, which is where you're, in addition to forgiving all debts, this is the one where the land's supposed to go back to its rightful owners. and it's a great system that keeps order. It keeps people from amassing too much, because if somebody did during those 49 years, that 50th year, it would go back to the families that it originally belonged to. And again, you don't get into the large amount of debt, and you don't get yourself into servitude without relief.
Captain John Regan's with us. TheFinancialStateOfTheUnion.com. We'll be right back after these top of the hour. No, after these few commercial announcements. I'm Vincent Finelli. By now, you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
My name is Bill Bonner, and I'm the president of the largest private news and research network in the world. And I paid for this airtime because I have an important message to the American people. There's a change coming that the government isn't telling you about. This change has deep implications for life in America, from where you shop to the doctors you visit and the family you want to protect. Look, I've made predictions like this before. Thing is, I was right then too. A few years ago, I warned that housing prices would collapse. They did. Before that, I warned that .com companies would crash. They did. Those who listened had a chance to save themselves. But this has nothing to do with the stock market. This will affect us all.
You can watch the video for free right now by going to $downfall.com. Again, that's $downfall.com.
Turn on the news and you'll hear stories of natural disasters, political unrest, and financial crisis. In times of uncertainty, how will you take care of your family's most basic needs? Food Insurance, America's most trusted provider of freeze-dried emergency food, has solutions that fit your family's needs and budget. Our meals are delicious, nutritious, and come with a guaranteed 25-year shelf life. For a limited time, we are sending a free freeze-dried meal to all listeners of this program. Go to foodinsurance.com and request your free meal today. That's foodinsurance.com.
Did you know that select musical tones have the power to heal? By listening to 7 amazing songs that contain these tones, you can experience the power of music therapy.
I used to work in a pretty stressful atmosphere, but I started using the whole tones in the office, and I'm experiencing more focus, motivation, peace, and better relationships.
WholeTones99.com is a unique music therapy program featuring 7 secret ancient healing frequencies uncovered in the music of King David. Now you too can unlock the healing secrets of the Bible, as we are offering a free sample of this music so that you can discover their power to heal, relieve stress, and break negative cycles.
I use the tones to calm my 5, 3, and 2-year-olds to stop the fighting, and it works.
Now you can experience the healing music therapy in the comfort of your own home or office. Visit WholeTones99.com and get a free song. Visit WHOLETones99.com today for your free song. That's WholeTones99.com. WholeTones99.com.
Healthy, organic, fresh fish, robust, mouth-watering vegetables, all from your home. It's called aquaponics. This brilliant, self-sustaining protein and veggie system is perfect for year-round growing. Know exactly where your food is coming from. Aquaponicssource.com is the one-stop shop for all your needs. Fish, fish food, plumbing, full systems, classes, and more. Learn to build your own system. Go to aquaponicssource.com for a free guide to aquaponics. That's aquaponicssource.com.
Captain John Regan's with us. I'm at the financialstateoftheunion.com. I've clicked on the news tab. John Regan, what's next?
Well, like I say, there's just so much going on. And the big thing this week is whether or not the Fed is going to start raising interest rates. Mm-hmm. If they do, that is being done at exactly the wrong time, and it's going to make things worse. Let me cover the gap, and maybe they'll triple seasonal adjust GDP out of the financial section, because one of the things that would mean that they would not raise rates is if we were in recession. Now, a few weeks ago, I went through chart after chart showing that if we're not in recession, we're that close to it, because that's what all the signs are saying, with the exception of GDP. The gap is talking about the record gap between inventories and sales. And if you look at recessions in the past, it's right there at those levels. And then I've got an article, August retail sales hampered by lower back-to-school shopping. Back-to-school shopping is the second largest season for retailers. Only Christmas is greater. And I'm waiting to see how they're going to spin that to say that things grew. And I'm for next time, I'll see if I can pull up the articles from where they decided to redo how they're calculating GDP. Mm-hmm. And if you went on how they used to calculate GDP, I think we would already be showing recession, which means you have 2 quarters in a row of less than zero growth. And like I say, by this time next week, we'll know what the Fed's done, at least for this month. If they do raise it, then I'll bring up some of the ramifications of what they're doing there. And real quickly, I want to get into some spy tech from this week and last, another upgrade, and the first 2 links from last week. I've got a sensor that this is a Wi-Fi product that you plug into your onboard diagnostic port in your car, so that your old vehicle can become a Wi-Fi hotspot and you can get irradiated like everybody else. But in addition to that, the one from last week shows how New York is doing the same thing with this dongle that plugs into the diagnostic port that keeps track of you, which right now I've got something similar in our cars. We've got less than 45 days to go that will get us insurance discounts. So even if you have an older car and you think you're going to be able to get around this tracking, these types of devices are going to be required with very severe penalties if you don't have one in your car. And when you add on the smart grid, and this is another one from last week, the sensors that make your dumb appliances smarter, because they know how much electricity is going in, and you're going to need to account for where that electricity is going. And people can't afford to buy new appliances, but they'll make these sensors to the point where you won't be able to use that as an excuse. So,
now let me share something that kind of ties to this. I was talking with one of our instructors in Europe. He'll remain nameless at this point. And he has a farm, and he services his equipment. And when he buys oil, let's say he buys oil at in a drum, 55-gallon drum. When he he has to keep all the old oil, the used oil that he drains out of his vehicles. And he is required to return 80% of the oil that he bought. 80%. And if he doesn't have 80%, that means that his equipment is leaking, which is unacceptable, or burning oil, which is unacceptable. And he's got to explain where the oil
attorney
went.
spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states.
Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Okay, open your mouth and say ah.
When your child has a sore throat, you need to know when to get help. The doctor recommended Say Ah Sore Throat Exam is your solution. The scientifically designed oral retractor offers a clear view of the throat, relaxing the tongue and minimizing gag reflex. Compare with a medical grade chart, website, and app. Then you'll know just what to tell your doctor. A wellness plan in your hands in minutes. Go to SayAHHnow.com. SayAhNow.com, the new mainstay for every family's first aid kit.
Did you know that select musical tones have the power to heal? By listening to 7 amazing songs that contain these tones, you can experience the power of music therapy.
I used to work in a pretty stressful atmosphere, but I started using the whole tones in the office, and I'm experiencing more focus, motivation, peace, and better relationships.
WholeTones99.com is a unique music therapy program featuring 7 secret ancient healing frequencies uncovered in the music of King David. Now you too can unlock the healing secrets of the Bible, as we are offering a free sample of this music so that you can discover their power to heal, relieve stress, and break negative cycles.
I use the tones to calm my 5, 3, and 2-year-olds to stop the fighting, and it works.
Now you can experience the healing music therapy in the comfort of your own home or office. Visit WholeTones99.com and get a free song. Visit WHOLETones99.com today for your free song. That's WholeTones99.com. WholeTones99.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
That's the sound your brain makes when you realize you're buying something and forgot the coupon. Online or in a store, knowing that you're missing a deal is the worst. You need the app from Retail Me Not right now. Get thousands of coupons from 50,000 stores like Kohl's, Domino's, Best Buy, and more, with crazy deals like 60% off, free shipping, and free gifts with purchase. You can get a text invite to download the Retail Me Not app 100% free right now for Apple or Android. Just text the code UPDATE to 42767. Then just show your phone at checkout to save. It literally couldn't be easier. It's 2015. Keep your coupons in your phone. Stop what you're doing and text UPDATE to 42767. Listeners will get a text with a link to download it 100% free. Never forget another coupon again. Text the code UPDATE to 42767 right now. That's UPDATE to 42767. Message and data rates may apply. For terms and privacy, visit retailmenot.com.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
Hi, this is Walt Augustinowitz. I'm the founder and CEO of ID Stronghold. By now you've heard our commercials about wallets that protect you from electronic pickpocketing. 10 years ago, I created a way to protect my own cards from prying eyes after government officials started talking about issuing a national ID card with a built-in radio chip called RFID. I felt having to broadcast my personal information was an invasion of privacy. Soon after, it was also announced that credit cards, debit cards, U.S. passports, hotel room keys, and even transit passes would all soon incorporate RFID. It was then I formed ID Stronghold to share my inventions in blocking RFID signals with the world. There are a lot of misconceptions out there today about RFID. I encourage everyone to get informed and get protected. Please go to idstronghold.com and get the facts and the wallet, sleeves, or badge holders you need to protect your personal financial data. You'll be pleasantly surprised that through our direct sales model, you won't pay more than other comparable unprotected wallets. It is as though the protection is free. Visit idstronghold.com today.
Captain John Regan's with us. John, I just want to let you know that over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we had massive spraying of the sky by these airplanes with these chemicals. Massive spraying. And I'm just wondering, what would happen if, let's say a neighbor set up an aerosol spray and sprayed their neighbor's front yard, from right on the property line. Just set up this sprayer and just sprayed. Say it was just dust. How would that fly? How long would it be before the cops came and arrested people for spraying dust? Right? However, that's what's happening all over here in the Ozarks. I mean, massive amounts of spraying. Tom in Baltimore, welcome.
Hi, Mr. Finelli. I called you about a week or two ago. I was talking to you for a bit about the financial fraud that I had started to uncover in a former career of mine. And I don't know if this is the same gentleman that you had on, because I just tuned in about 20 minutes ago, but he was talking about economic downturns, the possibility
that's Captain John Regan. Captain John Regan, yes.
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask him what he relies on why does he rely on the GNP to determine the probability of these things? Because the big problem I found with the financial fraud I was uncovering was these reports that seem reliable, such as the reports put out about the GNP, but they're nothing they're not reliable at all. Now, he was talking about retail sales. Now, you might be able to get some decent idea from that, so I think he was on the right path there. But as far as the GNP is concerned, I found a lot of problems with that, and that was just something that I had stumbled upon. I don't see how, in any way, even if the figures were accurate, that the GNP being higher would indicate more prosperity for a country, because, say my fellow Baltimoreans burned down half of Baltimore because they're mad. We saw that recently. Luckily, it wasn't half the city that burned, but nonetheless, that loss in real property and value, that doesn't get subtracted from the GNP. So the GNP figure right there is skewed.
No, I don't use that for what I use. In fact, I point out how bad it is. One of the things that I did that I announced at the Get Prepared Expo.
Yeah, because the GNP figures, they artificially they distort the value of things because they give equal weight and value to production of capital and to consumer goods. We're calling two things that are different the same thing, and we're basically adding to the tally sheet these numbers like Enron was doing. Not that bad, but it could be worse, for all I know. But nonetheless, it's just kind of a made-up number where really logic doesn't apply.
Yeah, and that's why I went into the IRS tax stats and used the income numbers.
Did you find what I found, that a lot of times the bottom line is blank, where there should be a total number that they come to, and you'll find lines are just blank. And you'll go up and try to do the accounting yourself and find, well, here's a column that's missing. Like, what happened to that? Knowing that there was supposed to be a number there. I ran into that. I don't know if you did and what you were doing.
I'm going to be rerunning those numbers again because they've had reports since I did the calculation. I don't expect to see anything really different. But the bottom line was at the current growth rates, the debt service and government spending eclipsed total income by 2020, which obviously is not something that can be done.
Yeah.
Tom, let me share something with you. I was talking with Larry Nichols off the air, not on the air. And he was telling me that he was involved in writing legislation that would keep the numbers from us, keep the numbers hidden from us. And why would that not? Why would that not be the case, that numbers are being hidden from us? Because if you look at all the lies that the government has been telling us, why would they tell us the numbers? Why would they tell us the truth about, the financial information? Let me give you another example. Larry Nichols said live on this broadcast several times that the poll numbers are made up. He said that they would sit around in the 1990s and before, in the 1980s, the guys would sit around and they'd talk about how to design poll questions so that they could get the results to report from the polls that they wanted. So they would design the questions to get the desired results so they could report the poll numbers that were favorable in their case. And then what they decided to do was, why even mess around with the polls? Let's just report the results. Let's make them up. And then let's make up the plus or minus 3%, where the accuracy of the poll was plus or minus 3%. They made that up, and they made up the results of the polls. It was all made up. Now, if that's the case, go ahead.
Someone just asked me about court cases, and you're right on target. I told them, I said, these courts of ours are so unjust. The justice system, call it that, is ridiculous, for one thing. They hide code from the people. They don't want you to know code so that you can walk into that courtroom and cite their own rulings back to them. If you notice, it's one thing to find law books, but to find actual case rulings, case law, they don't want you to know that. And a lot of times if you read the published case law, and don't get me started on the unpublished ones, it'll say citation omitted. So that tells you, they're telling you, we're omitting where this ruling took place, obviously because they don't want you to know it, to use it. And I think the more people, and believe me, it took me a long time. I feel pretty idiotic because, I'm university educated and trained very well by the city, went to further criminal training, and it took me the better part of my career to just start to catch on to the game. So, we're all behind the times, but I think the important thing is, and what I'm trying to do now in my retirement is just talk to as many people as I can, get the information that I gathered out so that more people can say, you know what, there really is something wrong here. And I think you're starting to see that.
Mm-hmm. Tom, Larry Nichols is scheduled to be with us tomorrow. So if you want to ask him directly some of the questions that are burning, your burning questions, feel free to call us, and I'll give you that number, 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933. So give us a call tomorrow if
I meant to call him. He gave his phone number out one time to ask people to call him. And yes, I would love to talk to him and pick his brain because I think he would be a wealth of information to assist me in filling in some gaps because there's still a few areas that I'm unclear on and only have vague ideas about what's going on.
Well, I'll give you his phone number. Class, if you'd like to know Larry Nichols' private number, I'll give it to you. Now, he's given this to me, and he's given it out on the air. So it's not like I'm breaching a confidence, okay? Here's his number, Larry Nichols, 440-897-0611. 440-897-0611. And Larry Nichols will be with us tonight via teleseminar at Jimmy's Egg. So bring your questions, and you'll be able to ask them. No questions are off the table. You can ask anything you want, as long as it's with honesty and integrity and in good taste. Okay, you can certainly ask your questions. But if you want to ask about Hillary or Bill, and he will even discuss. He's going to discuss tomorrow. I'll tell you, tomorrow's broadcast is going to be unbelievable. Bill Clinton has been characterized as having a certain part of his anatomy that's a little different from everyone else, and that's going to come up tomorrow in the broadcast. Seriously, we're going to do it tastefully, but maybe there's a reason why they call him Slick Willie. Yes.
I found a video that describes very well what I was talking to you last week about. It's by a forensic account. It's only like 45 minutes, but she's extremely good at just breaking it down into everyday terms. What I sometimes have a difficult time explaining to people. I think you'll very much enjoy and learn from the video. Does your email accept a file?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. And
as long as it's less than 10 meg, yeah, sure, send it to me. Or if you want to send me the link, Vincent at USAPREPARES.com. Vincent at USAPrepares.com.
I've got some other statements for you as well from my investigations. I told you I was going to send you. I'm still getting them together. Yeah. If you get an email, it'll be from Start Mail. It'll ask you to answer some questions that you'll know. That's how I encrypt my email. Instead of using the PGP where you have to copy keys, it'll be something simple that you'll know other people won't. So don't think it's something weird if it says, answer this question so the email can be opened. It'll be for me, and that's the way I encrypt my email so other people don't know and can't see what I'm sending. It'll only be between you and I, because I'm going to send you some government documents that I think you'll find very enlightening.
Okay, sounds great, Tom. I appreciate it.
Okay, sir. Have a good day.
Thanks so much.
And
Tom from Baltimore. And please call me Vincent.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, back to John Regan.
Let's slip on down to the bigger picture. Oil deadline.
Oh, man. Okay, we're going to the bigger picture. Oil deadline. When we come back right after these few short commercial announcements. John Regan's with us, thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. I'm Ben Finelli. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
No way. Is that a real bullet necklace?
No, it's a 9mm bullet necklace with matching earrings, you'll notice.
Those are awesome. Where'd you get them?
Dave found them at patriotnecklace.com.
Wow.
They have a variety of calibers and necklaces and earrings and keychains.
Patriotnecklace.com?
Patriotnecklace.com.
Your choice of caliber bullet includes a rugged American-made stainless steel dog tag chain. A percentage of every sale goes to military and service-related charities. And get a discount by entering GCN at checkout. Show your patriotism and support our troops with a bullet necklace from patriotnecklace.com.
Gold isn't for you? Ted Anderson, president of Midas Resources, one of the world's premier gold and precious metal investing firms. I get it. You wouldn't buy gold if you believed that the government is doing a great job, that the Fed will stop handing out trillions of dollars like bailout candy, that Social Security would be there for you. That's not what's happening. You might even pass on gold if the stimulus package wouldn't fuel inflation, or that the dollar wouldn't lose value, or that your retirement would be secure. If all looks rosy to you, then now is not the time to buy gold. For the realist, there have never been more sobering reasons to diversify with gold. Since 2001, the US dollar index has tanked 30% while gold has risen 300%. Right now, savvy investors are adding gold to their portfolios. You should too. Find out what they know. Call us and I'll send you 10 reasons why gold will do very well, free. 800-686-2237. 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
Virtually anyone can hack your cell phone and track your calls, your texts, your emails, your every movement, but only if they can detect a signal. Stay one step ahead of hackers and Big Brother with a Block-It Pocket, a custom-made pocket infused with pure silver that creates a complete Faraday enclosure for your cell phone. For free shipping to the lower 48, visit blockitpocket.com or call 888-315-9618. blockitpocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the most affordable body armor, period. With packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. KD offers soft armor and rifle threat rated armor up to level 4. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free tactical scarf for a limited time with any body armor package. That's CATIarmor.com. Come and take it.
Class, I just got off the phone with Larry Nichols. Larry is confirmed to be with us tonight at Jimmy's Egg via teleseminar. He's confirmed to be on the air with us tomorrow, right here at USA Prepares. He said he had a rough weekend. That means his health was giving him some serious problems. And so he said he's good for tonight. He thinks he's good for tomorrow. And I just talked with Chad King. Chad King is the producer of the documentary Revolution 2.0, as Larry Nichols has named it. And the announcement will be coming out tomorrow that it will be, the trailer will be available, and you'll be able to pre-order the video. Looks like starting tomorrow. That's the word I just got. John Regan, back to you.
As you know, that this administration's been reluctant to build oil pipelines.
Right.
And a lot of this shale oil has been transported by rail car. And starting January 1st, there's a new deadline that could cut out shipping of hazardous materials, including oil, by rail. And this could have a really big impact. And I also want to slip down to the next article. Is this the Alice we're looking for? If you remember, there was a very strange Economist magazine cover for 2015 that had a lot of the world's leaders and some other symbols and things that we didn't really understand what it was about. And up front, facing the world leaders, was Alice from Alice in Wonderland. And I'm just wondering if this is the connection to that. And this link is behind-the-scenes look at CERN's ALICE, which stands for a Large Ion Collider Experiment. And I know we're not even going to have time to get into this, but if you go to the bigger picture last week, I've got a link, tooth to tail, which is a PDF. This talks about the tooth to tail ratio in modern military operations, because you have not just the people out there doing the fighting, you've got the logistic support for that. You've also got things like command and control, the headquarters. And then you can even abstract this out another level with the manufacturing for the war machine, the communications. It really will paint a picture on what it would take to actually prosecute a war on the scale that we had seen in the past with World War I, World War II. And again, we're now out of time to where I can't even talk about World War III at this point. But that would be another document to at least take a look at before we get back next time, because it's a part of the picture that we need to look at. Vincent?
John, there's so many threats surrounding us. It's mind-boggling. You can go in any direction, and there's a threat coming at us, and the words are changing. We use words to mean one thing, and the other team uses them to mean something else, and they use the same words that we use against us. So, do you have homework for us, John?
Outside of that, like I say, there's just so much that we didn't get to these past 2 weeks. If you go back to the August 31st show and the September 7th show plus today's show, like I said, there are so many news items in there, plus a few helpful hints that didn't even get a chance to get to. And, if we had another 4 to 6 hours, we might be able to do it.
John, when we first started, I thought, how are we going to fill 1 hour a week with broadcast information? And then it was, how are we going to fill 1 hour 5 days a week? And then it's, how can we fill 2 hours 5 days a week? And now it's, how can we get it all in 2 hours 5 days a week? Captain John Regan, thank you so much for being with us. TheFinancialStateOfTheUnion.com. Larry Nichols tonight at Jimmy's Egg via teleseminar. I will be there. Jimmy's Egg. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Hey, thanks so much. At the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.